In the quiet suburb of Willow Creek, where maple trees lined the streets like silent guardians, lived a young woman named Emily Thompson. She was 28, with soft brown hair that fell in waves over her shoulders, and eyes the color of autumn leaves as a warm, but often distant. Emily was the daughter of Robert Thompson, the powerful CEO of a tech company that shaped the digital world from its glass tower downtown. But Emily's life was far from the spotlight her father commanded. A car accident 5 years ago had left her paralyzed from the waist down, confining her to a wheelchair. She moved through the world with grace, but the world rarely noticed. It was a crisp autumn evening when the story truly began. The sun dipped low, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. As Emily sat by the large bay window in her family's sprawling home, she watched neighbors hurry by, their footsteps crunching on fallen leaves. The annual community gala was approaching, a glittering event her father hosted every year to celebrate his company's successes. Invitations had gone out weeks ago, and the house buzzed with preparations. But for Emily, it was just another reminder of her isolation. "Emily, dear, are you sure you don't want to come?" her mother, Linda, asked softly, pausing in the doorway with a tray of tea. Linda's voice was gentle, laced with concern that had become a constant companion since the accident. Emily turned her head slowly, offering a small smile. "I'm fine here, Mom. You and Dad enjoy it." Her words were calm, but inside, a quiet ache stirred. She remembered the days before the accident, dancing at parties, laughing with friends. Now, people treated her like fragile glass, polite nods, averted eyes, hurried conversations. No one saw her anymore, not really. As the days slipped by, the gala loomed larger. Emily spent her afternoons in the garden, her wheelchair gliding over the smooth stone paths her father had installed. The air smelled of damp earth and blooming chrysanthemums. Birds chirped overhead, their songs a soothing melody. But even here, in her sanctuary, loneliness crept in like fog. Friends from her old life had drifted away, their visits growing rarer. "It's hard to see you like this," one had said once, before vanishing entirely. Emily understood. She did. But understanding didn't ease the emptiness. One afternoon, as golden sunlight filtered through the leaves, Emily heard a new voice in the house. It belonged to Jack Harlan, a single dad who worked as a project manager at her father's company. Jack was 32, with tousled dark hair and kind blue eyes that crinkled at the corners when he smiled. He had a daughter, Lily, who was a bundle of energy with pigtails and a gap-toothed grin. Jack had lost his wife to illness 3 years ago, and he navigated parenthood with quiet determination. Today, he was at the Thompson home to discuss gala logistics with Robert. Emily wheeled herself into the living room, drawn by the sound of laughter. Lily was there, sitting cross-legged on the rug, drawing with crayons while Jack and Robert talked. The girl looked up, her eyes wide with curiosity. "Hi, what's your name?" Lily asked, unbothered by the wheelchair. "Emily," she replied, her voice soft and steady. "And yours?" "Lily." "Like the flower," the child beamed, holding up a drawing of a stick figure family under a rainbow. Jack glanced over, his expression warm. "Sorry if we're intruding." Lily insisted on coming along. "It's no intrusion," Emily said, feeling a spark of something unfamiliar, a connection. For the next hour, as the men discussed details, Lily chattered away to Emily about school, her favorite cartoons, and how she wished she had a big sister. Emily listened, her heart softening. It had been so long since someone spoke to her without pity. When it was time to leave, Jack knelt down to Lily's level. "Say goodbye, kiddo." "Bye, Emily." "Can we come back?" Lily waved enthusiastically. Emily nodded, a genuine smile breaking through. "I'd like that." As they walked out, Jack paused at the door, turning back. His eyes met hers, steady and kind. "It was nice meeting you, Emily." "Really?" She watched them go, the door clicking shut behind them. For the first time in years, the house felt a little less empty. The following week brought subtle changes. Jack started dropping by more often, always with an excuse, delivering documents, picking up forgotten items. But Lily was the real reason, or so it seemed. The girl would bound in, full of stories, and Emily found herself looking forward to those visits. They played board games in the sunroom, the clink of pieces on the table mingling with Lily's giggles. Jack would join sometimes, his presence calm and reassuring. One rainy afternoon, as thunder rumbled softly outside, Emily and Jack sat alone while Lily napped on the couch. The room smelled of fresh coffee and wet earth. "How do you do it?" Emily asked quietly, her hands folded in her lap, raising her on your own. "It must be hard." Jack leaned back, staring at the rain-streaked window. "Some days it is, but Lily, she's my anchor. After Sarah passed, I thought I'd never smile again. But kids have a way of pulling you forward." He paused, his voice dropping. "What about you? I imagine it's not easy, being, well, you know, paralyzed." The word hung unspoken. Emily nodded slowly. "People change how they see you, like you're not whole anymore." She traced the armrest of her chair with her finger. "At first, it hurt. Now, it's just normal." Jack's eyes softened. "You're more whole than most people I know, Emily. You've got a strength that's quiet, but it's there." His words lingered, warming her like the steam from her mug. For a moment, the rain outside seemed to slow, each drop a deliberate pause in the conversation. As the gala drew nearer, invitations flooded in. Colleagues, investors, socialites. Emily's father was in his element, planning speeches and menus, but Emily felt the familiar pull of invisibility. At family dinners, talk swirled around her. Who was attending? What to wear? No one asked if she wanted to go. Why would they? She hadn't attended since the accident. One evening, after dinner, Emily sat in her room, the soft glow of her lamp casting shadows on the walls. She flipped through an old photo album, fingers lingering on pictures of her dancing at past events. Laughter frozen in time. A knock interrupted her thoughts. It was Jack, standing in the doorway with a hesitant smile. Lily was at a sleepover, so he was alone. "Hey," he said, stepping in. "Your dad said you might be up here. Mind if I join you?" "Not at all." Emily closed the album gently. They talked for hours about dreams deferred, small joys, the weight of loss. Jack shared stories of late-night parenting mishaps, making her laugh until her sides ached. As the clock ticked past midnight, he grew serious. "Emily, I've been thinking about the gala." She tilted her head. "What about it?" He took a deep breath, his hands clasped. "Would you? Can I be your date?" The words hung in the air, simple yet profound. Emily's heart skipped. No one had asked her that in years. Not since before. "Jack, I'm in a wheelchair. People will stare." "Let them," he replied softly. "I see you, Emily, not the chair." "You." Tears pricked her eyes, but she blinked them back. The room felt warmer, the silence between them comfortable, like an old blanket. The days leading to the gala built a quiet tension. Emily's family noticed the change in her brighter eyes, the way she hummed while reading. Her mother helped her choose a dress, a flowing blue gown that shimmered like starlight. "You look beautiful," Linda whispered, pinning up her hair. But doubts crept in. What if it was pity? What if the evening ended in awkward silences? Emily confided in Jack during one of their talks. "I'm scared," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. He reached for her hand, his touch gentle. "Me too. But let's face it together." The gala night arrived under a canopy of stars. The venue was a grand hall downtown, lights twinkling like fireflies. Guests arrived in elegant attire, chatter filling the air. Emily's wheelchair hummed softly as Jack pushed her up the ramp, his hand on her shoulder. Heads turned not with pity, but curiosity. Whispers followed. "Is that Emily Thompson?" Her father spotted them first, his eyebrows rising in surprise. "Emily, you came." His voice held a mix of pride and regret. "Yes, Dad." With Jack, she smiled, her chin lifted. As the evening unfolded, the atmosphere shifted. Jack introduced her to colleagues, not as the CEO's daughter, but as Emily, a smart, witty, kind. People engaged her in real conversations, about books, travel dreams, even tech ideas. Lily, dressed in a frilly dress, darted around, proudly declaring, "Emily's my friend." Tension peaked during the speeches. Robert took the stage, his voice booming. Midway, he paused, looking at Emily. "Tonight, I see my daughter here, reminding me what strength looks like. Emily, you've taught me more than any boardroom ever could." Applause rippled through the room. Emily felt a swell of emotion, but it was Jack's quiet squeeze of her hand that grounded her. Then came the gentle twist. As music started for the dance, couples swirled onto the floor. Emily watched, a pain in her chest. Jack leaned down. "May I have this dance?" "But how?" she asked, confused. He grinned, wheeling her to the edge of the floor. With careful movements, he swayed her chair in time to the melody, his hands guiding hers in the air. It wasn't traditional, but it was fierce, slow, intimate, full of laughter. Others joined, some adapting their steps, turning the dance into an inclusive circle. The night ended with desserts under the stars. Emily and Jack sat on the terrace, the city lights sprawling below. "Thank you," she said, her voice steady, "for seeing me." He smiled. "Thank you for letting me." In the weeks that followed, their bond deepened. Jack and Lily became regulars at the Thompson home, filling it with life. Emily started volunteering at a local center for people with disabilities, sharing her story. Her family grew closer, conversations flowing without barriers. One sunny afternoon, as they picnicked in the garden, Lily looked up. "Emily, will you be my mommy someday?" Emily glanced at Jack, who nodded with a wink. "Maybe, sweetheart." Maybe. Life wasn't perfect, challenges remained, but Emily had found her place, not despite her paralysis, but with it. She realized invisibility wasn't fate, it was a choice others made. And sometimes, all it took was one person to change everything. In the end, remember, everyone deserves to be seen. Reach out, ask that question. It might just spark a beautiful beginning.